What's up, gentlemen? So I wasn't planning on talking about this on this channel, to be completely honest, but the more I sort of thought about it, the more I realized that, the reason why I do these videos is pretty simple. It's to help you in different areas of your life. And I feel like if I don't talk about it or I don't address it or just tell you something that I'm dealing with, that I would be doing a disservice, because I know that possibly my story and something that I'm about to tell you or talk about could potentially save somebody's life. And I mean, if that's a question, the answer is I got to talk about it, right? So, sorry, I'm a little like, it still like has me like a little bit freaked out. All right, so a few months ago, when that actor from the Black Panther passed away from colon cancer, it really like freaked me out. Colon cancer is one of those things where it's like, it seems like you keep hearing more and more people having issues and cancer and stuff like that. And colon cancer is one of those things that like you don't know there's a problem until there's a problem. And when you know there's a problem, it's a big problem. And the other thing, and the reality is that colon cancer is one of those things that you can detect like super early with like a colonoscopy. And if you detect it early, the chance of survival, the chance of handling it when it's early and like just starting is like amazing. Like as long as you catch it, you can fix it. Anyway, so when Chadwick Boseman died, it was kind of like, it was almost like, it was very eye-opening. I thought to myself, damn, he's so young, he's so successful. And the thing that I've come to realize, at this stage of my life, I'm 44 years old, is that without health, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much fame, how much success, it doesn't matter. If you're not healthy, that is the most important thing. And so last year I was going and getting my annual physical. They did blood work, they did a bunch of stuff, everything looked good, but I said to the doctor, I said, doc, what would you think about me like actually getting a colonoscopy? I know that technically like colonoscopies, for men, they don't recommend them until you're like 50 years old. I'm 44, and so I was 6 years away. But I was like, if I could just go and get one, if it's no like big deal to go and get one and like go to sleep and have them stick a camera up my butt and just like make sure, like why not? So I asked him, I said, is there any reason why I wouldn't want to go and get one? He's like, are you having any issues? I'm like, no. Do you have a family history? No. Do you drink? Not much. Do you smoke? No. Do you exercise? Yes. I have like zero reasons why I would be a candidate for, having something wrong with me, right? I'm a pretty healthy dude. I consider myself a pretty healthy dude. And so he's like, no, if you want to, you can. Why don't I schedule you an appointment or referral to a GI doctor? So I'm like, all right, let me go in and talk to this GI doctor. So I go in, I make an appointment, and I sit down with the GI doctor. And she's asking me questions. Are you having any issues? Do you have blood? Do you have this? Do you have that? And the answer was, no. I just kind of want to know. She was like, sure, let's schedule one. I'm like, hold on, this relationship is moving a little too fast. I wasn't ready to like do it, but I wanted to think about it, right? But I knew me, right? I knew that if I actually thought about it and like waited and I'd keep thinking, and I knew that I would put it off as long as possible. But I made an appointment. I'm like, all right, if I leave out of here, I'm gonna convince myself not to do it. Like, don't waste your time, it's no big deal. And so I made an appointment. My appointment was January 8th. It was at like 10 a.m. It was a Friday. And I'm like, I'm just going to go and do it. And so I left, and I told some people. I told my friends. I told my family members. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go get a colonoscopy. They're like, why? Are you having an issue? I'm like, no. I just figured, like, why not? Some of my friends made fun of me. They're like, dude, you're the only person I've ever heard of doing, like, a preventative, like, colonoscopy just to check. You're too young. You're too young. You're fine. You're healthy. You're this. You're that. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it because it's peace of mind, and why not just know? If I can know, if it's no big deal, let me just find out. And so, long story a little shorter, leading up to the procedure, I was dreading the actual prep for the colonoscopy. For those of you who have ever heard of it, you got to drink this stuff, you do like a liquid diet for a little while. All that being said, the prep was not that bad. The worst part of it for me was that on Thursday, the day before, 24 hours, you're on like a liquid diet, and you got to start drinking this stuff that like really like cleans you out. The worst part about the whole thing is that I was a little bit hungry and I wanted to eat, and I was not like really feeling the jello at that point. But honestly, like it wasn't that big a deal. On a scale like, I would say like 1 to 10, like 10 being like it was horrible, it was probably like a 3.5, maybe a 4. Next morning, I wake up and like I'm clean. Like I'm talking, I'm clean, right? And so my wife, she drives me to the facility where I'm gonna go have this procedure done. She drops me off, she can't go in with me. She's like, see you in a little bit, honey. And I go in, I fill out my paperwork, like literally like in 10 minutes of me getting there, I was like in a gown, in a bed, talking to a nurse. She was going over, you know, do you have any of this? No. Do you have any of that? No. Have you eaten this? The answer is no. Then the anesthesiologist comes in and like, hey, asking me a bunch of questions. Do you have any issues with anesthesia? No, everything seems cool. Literally, by the time I was in the room to have the procedure done, it was 20 minutes maybe. Right? They put an IV in me and they said, okay, lay on your side, get ready to go to sleep. I'm like, all right. They put the stuff in me in terms of in my IV, and boom, I was like out. I was waking up, like literally it was 15 minutes later. The entire procedure took like 15 minutes. And I was out of it because apparently this stuff, like it F's you up pretty good. And I was told like rest of the day, like you can't like drive a car, don't make any like big financial decisions, don't post any YouTube videos. They didn't actually say that, but I assume that that's something I shouldn't be doing because of the, you know, the fact that you are kind of still like a little bit intoxicated from this drug that they use, propofol or whatever it's called, to put you to sleep. All that to say, that the doctor called my wife and also told me, she's like, you have 5 polyps in your colon. I said, 5 polyps? And she said, yeah, we removed them and we sent them off to a lab. Everything looks fine and all, but we just want to send them off to be sure that they're benign and not cancerous. 5. And so I was like, whoa. And this really shook me because I was not expecting to have any issue. I was expecting them to be like, yo, everything's cool. And I then heard from the doctor that the 5 polyps that I had removed were what they consider precancerous. Apparently there are good polyps and bad polyps. The good polyps kind of look like mushrooms that grow in your like colon, and the other kind that I had is more like on like the surface. Anyway, she said that they tested them, there were no cancer cells, but that is what they consider these to be precancerous. And the fact that I had so many of them, the fact that that's what they were, now I have to go back and have another procedure in 2 years. And so I guess the good news, and I think really what I wanted to just kind of stress, and when I think about it, I get upset. Obviously, I cry all the time. You guys know that. When I actually like wrap my brain around the whole thing, and I realized that I just detected or found something that I wouldn't have known about for 6 years from now. By the time I turn like 50 years old, 50, like 6 years from now is when they like technically say that you should start getting colonoscopies. I found 5 potentially cancerous things in me, had them removed 6 years before I would have. What could have happened in the next 6 years? And I guess that is really why I feel so incredibly fortunate and feel like I feel like I saved my own life. Like just because I was a little bit paranoid and I didn't listen to people say, don't do this, don't do that, you're silly, don't do it, you're crazy. And so I feel amazing, the fact that I had the procedure done. Here's a little pictures of my issues, if you want to see them. So I guess to wrap this video up, all I want to say is that it was no big deal. It was no big deal. It was a simple procedure and process. The prep wasn't bad. And I guess I just want to, throw it out there. And I'm not saying that you at like 18 years old or 19 or 20 or 30, like I'm not saying that you all should run out and do this. But I am telling you that me, somebody who is generally, I consider myself one of the healthiest people I know, I potentially had a really big problem going on that just out of sheer paranoia, I found and identified and fixed. Am I out of the woods? I don't know. I'm going to go back in 2 years and find out because I'm cool, right? If I had to do this every 6 months in order to protect myself, I would do that. And so I just want to do a video and share this unsexy story with you just because it's reality. It's something that I had to deal with, I'm dealing with currently, and I just want you to think about it. Is it something that you should go and do? I don't know. I can't say that it is. I can't say that it isn't. I just wanted to share my experience. Maybe there's one person out there watching this video that decides to go get a colonoscopy a few years before they're supposed to because Alpha did. You know, if there's one person that does that and it maybe saves your life, this video is worth it. And my talking about it is good. You know, I guess I'll just wrap this video up by saying, you know, your health, like I said, is your number one asset. Without it, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many spicy senoritas you got on your junk. It doesn't matter what car you drive. If you are not healthy, nothing else matters. And an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as they say. I know that that is cliche, but it's all about taking care of yourself. If there's something that you can look at, if there's something you can do to potentially prevent yourself from suffering, you know, really bad consequences down the line, I say go for it. What the fuck do you have to lose other than maybe, you know, maybe you have to pay for it, right? Maybe your insurance won't cover it. Maybe you don't have insurance. You know, I think they said that the procedure, if you don't have insurance, is like $1,000 or something like that. Is saving up $1,000, is it worth it? I'd say, yeah, to potentially save your life. Of course. But anyway, guys, I love you, and I just wanted to share something with you that I'm dealing with that, you know, I'm cool. I feel super, super thankful. I am very, very fortunate. You know, the bad news is that I had some, you know, precancerous polyps. The good news is that I found out 6 years before I would have. And so I'd say that that's all good news, honestly. And I just wanted to share my experience in hopes of possibly, you know, just opening your eyes to be like, yo, if Alpha, this is going on with him, maybe it's going on with me. And at the end of the day, I just want you to be healthy, awesome, and feel amazing because I love you. And so that's where I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.